Hi everyone! Have you ever gone out to your garden in early spring and noticed that your raised bed soil looks low? Well, that's totally normal. Raised bed soil does settle from season to season. However, if you plant right into it without topping it off, your plants won't have the support and the nutrients they need. I'm going to show you how to top off your raised beds step by step before planting season starts. So when you're ready to plant your vegetables, your soil is prepped, full of life, and ready to grow you lots of healthy veggies this spring. Settling of your raised bed soil is totally normal. It doesn't mean you did anything wrong. I mean, take a look at my raised bed here. It's settled about 6 to 8 inches since last season. And the reason for this is simple. You're adding compost and organic matter to the soil. The worms and the microbes feed on it, break it down, and as you water, the air pockets are removed and the soil just naturally settles from season to season. And also, the plants are heavy feeders, all the vegetables that you're putting in your raised beds. And if you don't top off your soil, they're not going to have the nutrients that they need to grow and thrive. So it's a really important step to do at the beginning of the season so your vegetables have what they need from the get-go to really take off. Now, I have a lot of people ask me, when am I supposed to top off my raised beds? And I like to do it about 2 to 4 weeks before I plant my vegetables. And the reason for this is I want the soil to kind of settle in. I'm going to water it so it feeds the microbes. It can really make them active. So they start chewing away at the organic matter in the soil. The worms come in, deposit their worm castings, and it just gives the soil a few weeks to really just become active and get going before I get my vegetables in. So I'm doing it now before I plant in just a couple of weeks. It also gets the moisture levels nice and even so your plants have the moisture they need to thrive from the get-go. Now come on over to this side and let me show you how much more it's settled on this side. Maybe about even 8 to 10 inches over here. So I'm not sure why. Maybe my raised bed isn't super level. But if I wasn't adding soil up to the top of the raised bed, you can see how much less support my plants would have on this side. So by filling the soil up, my plants have the support they need and the nutrients they need so the roots can really get down deep in the raised bed. And when you've got more roots, you're going to be able to grow healthier vegetables. Now, if you have a brand new raised bed that you're filling for the first time, you want to watch the video links I'm going to put in the video description. There's a couple different ways that you can fill that and have fresh new soil for your raised bed. So the first step when you're topping off your raised beds is to determine how much your raised bed has settled. So this one over here has actually only settled a few inches. So it doesn't require tons and tons of effort or work to top off. What you want to do in this case is just add a few inches to the top of your bed here. You can kind of add the soil around the existing plants. It's really very simple and very quick and will add a lot of fresh nutrients to your garden bed. But if you have soil that has settled a significant amount, like my bed over here in the chill zone, 6 to 8 inches is quite a bit of soil to add. You want to take an entirely different approach. So let me go grab the soil that we're going to add and we'll get right into it. Good boy, Mac. Now, before I show you what we're going to top off our raised beds with, I'm going to clear the bed. I decided to go ahead and remove all the trellises because I want to rearrange them this season. I'm going to take out the drip, leave some plants in, but remove others, and I'll tell you why as we go throughout this process. It's going to be fun actually to start with a whole new, fresh, clean slate. There's something about just starting with a blank new garden bed that's really fun. Now, removing your trellises is definitely optional. You can leave them in, but because I'm going for a new look this season, they're all coming out. Looks so different with all the trellises in, doesn't it? Now let's talk for just a minute about what to do with plants when you're topping off your raised beds, especially when they've settled as much as mine are. What I'm going to do is remove the shorter plants, like the strawberries here, by very carefully just kind of moving the mulch aside and then kind of digging under the roots. Because when I top off my raised beds, you can see the strawberries would be covered. So I'll remove them and then we'll transplant them back into the raised beds or somewhere else in the garden at a later date. So I'm just going to set them aside. It's important you want to put them kind of in a moist area, not out in the sun. just to kind of help protect them while they're sitting here until they get transplanted. Now, for some of the plants like these calendulas are kind of past their prime, they need to come out. So we'll prune those out of the garden bed here. And we will be planting some warm weather flowers in their place soon. It is really hard for me to take them out because they still actually look pretty good, but they're definitely drying up in the heat. And I can actually save the flowers and make some tea. So these I'm going to set aside over here. I'll save those. The peas I'm taking out because we're getting hot and they're not really going to last much longer anyway. So I'm just going to pull them right up. So you just kind of have to assess your garden bed depending on your season and depending on what you have planted. And then, just make your decisions on what plants you want to remove and what plants you want to keep. Arugula has bolted and flowered. It's coming out. The sorrel is a perennial green. I'm going to leave it and we'll probably kind of work around it and cut off some of the lower leaves so they don't get too covered by the additional soil, and then we can eat those for dinner. The peppers here I'm going to harvest and then leave the plants in because they will start to grow, produce new growth. I'll cut off the bottom leaves, the bottom branches, but really not a big deal if these branches get covered by new soil. Just kind of give it a quick little pruning. This one's got a lot of kind of cold damage growth, so we'll cut that off and leave the plant in to continue growing in the spring. Give it a good, nice pruning. Take off the dead stuff so more energy goes into the new. Nice little sorrel harvest here. Just a few more strawberries to pull out and then we're ready to do our top off. Ooh, even got some strawberries on this one. This one's got some nice roots to it. Don't worry about getting every single little bit of plant removed because it's organic matter. It will break down. For example here, this old basil stalk from last year. I'll probably just leave this in here along with the leaves and extra mulch, but I will remove the rest of this arugula and anything else that's kind of sticking high up in the raised bed. Got a little bonus harvest here of our sorrel and our peppers, and then our calendula back here. We'll think of something really yummy to make out of that. One last step before we do our top off is remove the drip because obviously if I'm topping it off 8 inches, the drip will get covered. We definitely don't want that. Plus I'm going to be reinstalling new drip. This drip has been in here for about 5 years and I've noticed some of the emitters are getting clogged, so I'm going to reinstall the Mr. Landscaper drip irrigation in here after we do the top off. Now that we have our garden bed clear, we're starting with a fresh slate. The next step is to top off your garden bed with good, high quality organic ingredients. The health of your garden starts in the soil. I can't emphasize this enough. The soil provides a living, breathing ecosystem that feeds your plants and helps them thrive. And when you start with good, organic quality nutrients, you're not just feeding the plants, but you're feeding the soil. And healthy soil means healthy plants and more vegetables for you to eat. So I'm adding the Bumper Crop Organic Soil Builder. It's packed full of good organic nutrients. It smells nice and earthy, and it's going to be great for my plants, and I can't wait to get it in my raised bed. Now, why not just grab any bag soil from the garden center? Because a lot of the bag soils at garden centers typically have a lot of fillers, mainly wood chips. Oftentimes, it's not high quality, doesn't have good organic nutrients, contains a lot of extra wood chips and fillers. And then the microbes are working hard to break those down, which leaves less nitrogen for your plants. It has ingredients that build the soil and don't steal from your plants. It's nice and rich and healthy, and it actually has aged fir bark, which breaks down slowly and actually builds soil structure into your raised beds. So it's perfect for topping off my raised beds. So I'm just gonna start dumping the bags of soil in. It smells so nice and earthy. I absolutely love this part. And we'll kind of add it in layers and then water it as we go along. Ah, look at that soil. That is beautiful. Bumper Crop has worm castings in it, which are really rich in plant available nutrients and beneficial microbes. Now, if you're not sure how much soil your raised bed is going to need to top off, bumpercrop.com has a great soil calculator that will help you figure it out. It also has the mycorrhizae, which is a beneficial fungi that helps the roots absorb the water and the nutrients. The fir bark adds structure, breaks down slowly, and doesn't rob nitrogen like all the raw wood fillers and other potting mixes. It's an amazing microbe boosting blend which supports living soil food web with more worms, fungi, and happy plant roots. And one thing I love about this soil builder is it has everything packed into it, so I don't have to add a lot of additional ingredients when I top off my raised beds. Now you could purchase all these ingredients separately, but it would end up being very, very expensive. So Bumper Crop has done the work for me. It's cost effective. You can grab it at your local Master Nursery Independent Garden Center. I'll put a store locator down in the video description. I've got about 4 2 cubic foot bags here in my 4 by 8 foot raised bed. And what I'm going to do here is water in between layers. It actually has raised it up about 3 to 4 inches. Now watering is really important because that's what really activates the microbes, gets them moving, chewing up all this good organic compost, and will really help improve the soil health. Plus then your plants will have the moisture they need to really be healthy and happy from the get-go. Now I'm not going to mix this into the current soil. It really doesn't need it. Watering it will help soak the nutrients down into the soil and it will absorb it that way. What I found is this soil has such great moisture retention capabilities that I don't have to water it near as much before it moistens it and it's ready for planting. And the microbial life really does need the moisture in order to waken it up, so don't skip this step. Now that we've watered the first layer, I'm going to keep adding soil until it's about an inch or so from the top. Let's get our hands in the soil here. Woo! Raised bed is all topped off and it's about 1 inch from the top here. I am leaving that 1 inch gap just to allow for a little bit more settling and to allow some room for mulch once we plant. Now I'm just watering this last layer here, and I'm not going to go crazy with this watering because I am going to be installing a drip here in just a moment, and the drip will do the watering for me, but just a little bit to kind of settle it in. Very important step is to install the drip right after you do your top off. Not only does this mean your plants will have the moisture they need as soon as you plant them, but I am going to run my drip over the next few weeks. And that way the soil will get saturated, be ready for planting. And again, the microbes really need the moisture in order to activate them and to start breaking down all the organic nutrients that we just added. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on how to install drip irrigation in this video. We just did one a few weeks ago, so go back and watch that for all the details. But drip is highly recommended so your vegetables get consistent, accurate watering. Just going to wind this drip hose around the raised bed and space the rows of drip irrigation tubing about 6 inches apart. And then I can always go in and add drippers in between here, these little added drippers, if I feel like I need additional moisture for my plants. Now sometimes this 1/4 inch poly tubing can be a little bit squirrely when you first lay it, but as the water runs through it, as the soil settles, and as the plants settle in, it's a lot easier to work with and it stays in place pretty well. We have the drip installed. The raised bed is completely topped off with this gorgeous black, beautiful soil. Absolutely love a clean, fresh slate. But I am going to wait a few weeks before planting. I really want the moisture levels to kind of even out. It'll give a chance for the worms and the beneficial insects to move in and go to work on this gorgeous soil. Plus, it'll give a chance with the watering for the soil to settle just a little bit more if it's going to. Then I can do another small top off before planting. So I hope this video was helpful. Let me know if you're going to be topping off your raised beds with some fresh new amendments very soon. Thanks for watching. See you next time in the garden.